Hello everybody, Tim W. Rago here, games, movies, and vlogs. How the hell is everybody? And welcome to the final part of Godzilla's journey through the treacherous depths of hell. Okay, so before we even get into the final story here, let's talk about the covers real quick. This first one here is apparently the standard cover, and this cover, which is the one that I have for my copy, this is the subscription cover. Honestly, I think this should have been reversed because this one looks more like a special subscription cover. I mean, look at it. You have Godzilla crumbling away to dust, all red in color, and a really dusty background. This just has Godzilla standing in fire, so I think they should have been reversed. Let me know down in the comments if you guys think so as well. Alright, now on to the story. Okay, so we start off this final story with Godzilla walking through some snow. And it looks like a lot of time has passed. I don't know, just by the look of this first page, it looks like a major time skip from the ending of issue number 4 to this one. And the look of Godzilla in this comic really reminds me of his look in Godzilla Rulers of Earth here. I mean, they are both owned by IDW, so it wouldn't surprise me that they would use a similar design for him in different comic stories. Wow, he looks like he is going through a seriously hard time right now. I mean, just look at that. The poor guy's almost frozen to death here. And the art style of this is just gorgeous. It's not as gorgeous as issue number 2, but issue number 5 here is right up there with it. And apparently, this part of hell is, I did some research on this, and apparently it's the Zamarir, which is an Arabic term, and it says, is a place of extreme cold at the bottom of hell in some Islamic sources. It is characterized by being unbearably cold with blizzards, ice, and snow. So that's very interesting that the makers of this comic did some research to add that in there. And then Godzilla apparently walks through some cave and ends up in some place with lava and a dead tree, and he comes to a sort of bridge over a lava fall. Damn. The art style in this is just wow. It's a huge improvement over issue 4. And then once again, Godzilla falls. I mean, what's this whole thing in this comic series about Godzilla falling on his ass everywhere? Okay, so after that little joke, Godzilla gets back up after landing in what look like termite mounds, and if you really look at what termite mounds look like, that's exactly what they look like. But it's not really termites. I guess if you really think this could be Hell's version of termites, they're like these little demon things with no eyes that probably hunt their prey with sonar like bats do. And I apologize if you hear some loud noise in the background. My neighbors across the street do that lowrider bouncing the car thing. So if you hear that in the background, I apologize. So this little horde of these things starts following him, and it really reminds me of, and I don't know if they directly reference this for this comic, but it's very reminiscent of that scene in Godzilla vs. Megaguirus where all the giant horde of dragonflies, the Meganura, I say Meganura. I know in the movie they say Meganula, but it's Meganura, which is the actual correct term, or correct name really, of the prehistoric dragonflies in this movie. So I'm doing it the right way. Make fun of me or hate on it in the comments if you want to. But yeah, I don't know if the makers of this issue directly referenced this scene, but it's very reminiscent of that. I mean, hell, even Godzilla's design is quite similar. So Godzilla comes to what looks like a mountainous type of area down here, and damn, I've said it once and I'll say it again, the art style is just damn good in this. And the mountain he comes to, wow, the very ominous, scary vibes this part of Hell gives off is, damn, you don't want to end up here. And just the fact that Hell brings Godzilla down to the size of an ant here, I mean, you can imagine mentally what this animal's going through right now. So on top of this mountain is this giant Cthulhu-looking mofo that looks like it's guarding some gate. I say Cthulhu because of the tentacles, but it really reminds me of the Ogju Jahad, the giant space monsters from the 2004 Hellboy movie. I mean, they look very similar here. So Godzilla thinks, oh, I can just get rid of this guy. And look right here. This is where the story starts to get really depressing. I mean, look at Godzilla's face throughout these panels. Like, he tries to use his atomic breath, and he can't. Like, his atomic breath is his main method of attack here, and look at him. He can't use it. It's not explained why he can't use it, and thank God, just like issues number 1 and 4, there are no dialogue boxes. Well, I mean, in this one there are, but they're not so annoying like they are in issues 2 and 3. So Godzilla can't use his atomic breath here. And so he thinks, oh, I'm just gonna climb this bitch. I got this. And if you look in the top right panel, the big whatever this thing is looks at him and goes, really, bitch? And just causes the mountain to have an avalanche, and damn, Godzilla is just so tiny compared to this mountain. I mean, this is just wow. So I mean, Godzilla has survived a lot worse than this. I mean, he's been buried under rocks before, so he gets out of it, and just look at him. He looks up there, and he's now tried twice to get out of hell. And this part really gets me in the feels. I mean, I know Godzilla's a giant reptile, but look at these two panels. I mean, is it me, or does Godzilla actually give up? I mean, seriously, after everything in this series that he has been through, just look at these two panels. He actually gives up right here. And we've seen Godzilla express this kind of emotion before. Once in Godzilla vs. Destroyer, there's a small little scene of Godzilla crying after Godzilla Jr. dies, and also in Godzilla King of the Monsters when Mothra dies. So it's really interesting and really cool to see Godzilla express emotion. But literally, it looks like he just gives up and lets the little demon things, well, kill him. This comic series has some balls. They actually kill Godzilla in this, and damn, and I thought the Brachiosaur death in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom was depressing. I mean, holy shit. Just wow, seeing Godzilla die again. I mean, in the movies we've seen Godzilla die, which is sad enough, but now I gotta see him die again? Damn, that is just wow. Oh man, wow. Okay, now that the little death montage is out of the way, let's get back to the main story here. So after eating Godzilla alive, I guess the little demon guys took in his essence because they all start growing eyes and start roaring like him. And if you look at the eyes, they're Godzilla's eyes. And these guys must be pretty strong if they can lift up Godzilla's bones and become him or turn into him or whatever's going on here. Big Cthulhu on top of the mountain looks at him like, what the fuck? He looks all confused. But as for Godzilla right now, I don't know what's going on here. So they all start breathing atomic breath here, and with all of Godzilla's body lighting up, it reminds me of Godzilla 2000, where Godzilla does this right before he blows up Orga. Like the Godzilla vs. Megagears bit, I don't know if this comic makes a direct reference to Godzilla 2000 for that, but it feels very reminiscent of it. So big Cthulhu mofo gets vaporized, and of course the ending reminds you of what country Godzilla's from. And the quote that's being shown on this page and on the next page also is a quote from Buddha apparently, and it's the only bit of dialogue from this comic, because like I said, there's no annoying amounts of dialogue like in issues 2 and 3 here. So I love how Godzilla goes through the gateway here, and it's very reminiscent of a lot of Japanese folk tales. I think this is where they got that from, because I have read, or not read really, I've looked up on some Japanese folk tales, and a few of them have ended with the hero passing through one of these archways, and nothing beats that iconic image of Godzilla coming out of the water. So he just comes out of whatever ocean this is, and he comes out perfectly fine. And here ends Godzilla's adventure in hell. Okay, that was a very depressing story to read. So to start off, I love the art style of this. Like I said, it's not as good as issue number 2, but it's right up there with it. And seeing Godzilla go through a hard time while down in hell here makes him a very relatable character, because of the fact that there have been a few situations that I've been in, I know a couple of my friends have been in, and my family has been in, where we've all thought that once we hit a resolution, it ends up not working, and we all end up tumbling down our own mountains and feel beaten. And this comic really makes Godzilla have that relatable sense. And I do love the fact that they give him deep sadness and emotion, and these two panels prove it right here. I think this is the story that broke him. I think this mentally broke Godzilla, because you've seen through this whole series he's been through literal hell, and just seeing him go through all of that only to be knocked down like this, it's really sad seeing this happen to a hero character, really. And Godzilla's always been the most powerful thing in the world, and to be brought down like this is, you can tell he really hurts from that realization. And the fact that we see him die in this comic is just, wow, it's insane that just seeing Godzilla die. It's like you really don't want to see the hero die, but the fact that this issue has the balls to do this to him is just, it's really sad. This is just really depressing. But the little demon guy's picking his bones up and turning into him, I don't want to say it's cartoony, I just think it's weird because the story is really depressing, so it's really weird that the little demon guys do this. And then when it comes to this big Cthulhu looking thing, I don't know what it is, the story itself doesn't explain what this thing is, but I do love the fact that it gets no explanation whatsoever. It's obscured by this dense fog or the clouds or whatever it is, and I love the design of it. So it's interesting that this story gives another monster for Godzilla to take on, but it's more like a battle of, I don't want to say wits or whatever. There is a phrase for this, but I am not sure what it really means. And just seeing Godzilla come up out of the water, and the fact that this comic ends like this, sorry I got tongue-tied there for a second, is a really great way to end it. Like, it doesn't end on no cliffhanger or none of that. This is a self-contained story, and it was right to the point. I mean, the whole entire goal of this was to see Godzilla come out of hell, and he does. So the fact that this story did not drag, it didn't do any filler. I mean, issue number 3 was probably filler, but still, just the fact that this ended right here is amazing. So yeah, so Godzilla in Hell issue number 5. Art style is great, the story is great, the monster, everything about this issue was just amazing. Everything about this, wow. Sorry, I almost repeated myself, but yeah, everything about this issue was great. So this final issue gets a solid 5 out of 5. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please be sure to like, share, and consider subscribing. I really do appreciate all the support that you guys give this channel. It's what gives me motivation to keep making content for you guys. Also, if you guys want to come follow me on social media, on the bottom right corner of the banner are the links to my Instagram and my DeviantArt, so please come and give me a follow there as well. So I just want to say thank you all so much for joining me on this journey in seeing how it begins with Godzilla falling into hell here, and seeing him deal with some crazy shit. And this series will, like I said in the introduction weeks ago, this will always be my favorite comic series because it not only puts Godzilla in a situation that is utterly terrifying, but also very mysterious. And I've said it a whole bunch of times, issue number 2 will always be my favorite one because it uses my favorite version of Godzilla from Japan, and also with the art style, it's the one that has the most time and effort put into it. Issue number 3 is ass, and throughout the first 4 issues here, just seeing recognizable monsters in this series is cool, I will admit, but issue numbers 1 and 5 giving us creatures that are original, I'm not going to say it's better than showing us recognizable Toho monsters. I'd say it's equal because it's all stories about giant monsters, so I do love them all equally here. And I know I said that if they were to do all 5 issues of this using the art style and Godzilla 2000 design throughout this whole thing, if they were to just do the whole series like issue number 2, that would have been great. But at the same time though, if they were to do all 5 issues of this with the 2001 version of Godzilla, since that version's a supernatural monster, and do it with the art style of number 2, that would make more sense because hell is apparently a supernatural place. And also I love how issue number 5 made Godzilla very relatable, or really the whole series makes him relatable because he's in a situation that he didn't ask for, so he has to literally fight his way through this like he does with every situation and get out of this load of bullshit. And like I said, I think issue number 5 is the issue that broke him because he tries to climb up that mountain with the big Cthulhu looking mofo and he failed, so he just gets brought down and feels defeated. But then it makes him more relatable seeing him overcome that challenge in any way possible, like Desert Jack said in Tremors 3, you know, the universe provides, and the universe definitely provided for Big G here. So yeah, like I said, thank you so much for joining me on this journey. This series was fun to make, but at the same time it was a little frustrating to be honest with you, but the results are all really good. So yeah, please let me know in the comments if there's any other stuff you want me to cover when it comes to not only Godzilla, but when it comes to anything else monster related. So yeah, this is Tim W. Rago, and I'm going to say peace out everybody, and I will see you all in whatever video I decide to do next. Alright, have a good one everybody.